it wouldn't have been out of place on Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet.
Oh,
Okay, that's what I figured you'd
I
say.
just got a blue tears boner.
Oh, geez, me too.
It's like a third grader drew a picture and they slapped it on the cover.
Yeah, but I remember seeing that and going, Cats in Boots? That's the
Yeah,
dumbest fucking band name ever.
awesome and true to form shit from Giant. And I was like, dude, what rippers these guys are.
I always say they're interesting topics because they're fucking interesting topics.
Fuck, this is Bon Jovi's long lost brother.
Baby's so cool, that song's gonna suck. That song title's ass.
I don't know where
Oh,
these fucking bands hid, where they hibernated, but it is never ending. This
yep.
is great.
And that's the service that we provide here. You
That's
know,
right.
this knowledge of shit. We're doing all the research so you don't have to.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome. I don't like cocaine. I just like the way it smells.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And today I got my buddy Ryan here because we got kind of an interesting, I always say they're interesting topics because they're fucking interesting topics. And today's topic is hair metal albums or maybe hard rock albums from back in the day that we didn't get into until recently. You know, that for whatever reason, I mean, I'm assuming from my list, they weren't big hits, but these are albums that came out in the glory days and for some reason or another passed us, these hair metal guru type people passed us by. And over the last few years, we gravitated to them, we caught on to them, whether we found out about them from online or from friends. So with that, Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And this is another, like you said, very, very interesting one. For one reason or another, and I will explain why I didn't get into these bands for so many years.
Yes.
They vary in the reasons, but I'm certainly happy that I gave them a shot at this point because the five that I have tonight are albums that I crank routinely.
And I just noticed this. All five of my albums came from 1990.
Oh, cool.
Unfucking real. But yes, so something that'll come up in mine is X, this community of people and you and Metal Mike and Brian from the Hairband Basement doing all these videos. I mean, people talk about shit and you're like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. I'm gonna go give this one a spin. And you're like, wow, I was missing out on something. So that's the topic for today. We each pick five albums, but before we get into it, hey, I would love it if you like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell. If you want to get notifications and just whatever you can do to support the channel, just know I appreciate it. Special shout out to my members, the people who make the Guru go. Costs a little bit of money, but you get first response to comments, you get early access to some of the videos. And so I appreciate all you guys. And Ryan, I should have thrown out there, lead singer of the band Metalcast, and he's at work protecting California from the ravages of fires and idiots doing shit that they're not supposed to be doing. So
Nice. Yeah, we got another one coming out soon with Metalcast, so I'm looking forward to it.
awesome.
Don't Tell Me No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me no. All right. That's a good title. Sounds a
Then
little risque. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
FYI, I would never tell you guys no if you know what I'm saying. So.
and then we're working on another one that's more of like a mid-tempo, and that's a cool one too, called Fire Away. So yeah.
I'm still hoping for my guest spot in one of these things where I
dude,
do like some talking intro or something cool like that. So
those
So
two
yeah,
songs.
go check out Metalcast. Metal Mike from the 80s Glam Metalcast puts all this shit out on YouTube. Awesome stuff. And Ryan sings lead screeching vocals and he kicks ass at it. So with that, we each picked five albums from back in the day that we didn't get into until recently. We weren't very strict. I said, hey, something that maybe you got into over the last 5 years, So we each got five. I'm dying to hear what you have gotten into recently. Ryan, what is your number five?
All right. Thank you very much. My number five is from 1987, comes from a great band called Lion.
Mm.
And the album is Dangerous Attraction, and it's their first major label release. And I'll be honest, I've always been a big fan of the Transformers songs. I love that soundtrack. But beyond that, I really wasn't a fan of the singer's voice. But like many of these five choices, I've owned their material for like 20 plus years. And for some dumb reason, I chose to ignore it for, like I said, various reasons, which I'll explain. But what got me re-engaged in Lion was super random. I went down a hurricane rabbit hole, and I was watching a full video of a 1990 concert from Japan. And at the end of the video, the guys in Hurricane brought out the boys from Lion, or some of the guys from Lion. And this is when Doug Aldrich was in Hurricane,
Yep.
formerly. So during the encore, Hurricane performed Power Love, and Kelly Hansen, coupled with my choice Lion song, was fucking magical. So I went back and I was like, okay, this song is so good, I gotta give Lion another shot. I cranked Dangerous Attraction and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? I absolutely eat my words regarding Cal Swan and his vocals. They're deep and they're rangy and they're different from all the other types of singers at the time. And I think the album is hooky as hell. It's riff filled and it's a gem, and I totally eat my words. I love Cal Swan and I love Lion now, both albums.
What's that album? Dangerous Attraction?
Yep. And the next one is Trouble in Angel City.
Trouble in Angel City or on Angel. Okay, so I remember those, and I need to spend some time because I knew Doug Aldrich was on guitar on that, and that dude has played with fucking everybody over the last whatever years. So I knew the connection to Hurricane, but I don't know those albums. I've listened because I listen to shit on YouTube, and if you know the guy on YouTube, Danny Wasted,
the best.
he has like every fucking hair metal album on YouTube. I love that guy. So since I play so much of his shit, I'll always get these recommendations, and then I always see this Lion album, and I start it sometimes, and I'm like, fuck, for whatever reason, I don't know if maybe it just doesn't grab me from the beginning. So I know of that, and when I'm going to tell you why I was kind of smirking when you mentioned it, because that's a good transition to my number 5. Because my number 5 is Hurricane, Slave to the Thrill with Doug Aldrich, which came out in 1990 on Enigma. And I was like, no way.
Wow.
Lion with Doug Aldrich. Okay. So that's my number 5. And Hurricane was damn near a super group. Kelly Hansen on vocals, who's been singing in Foreigner for years. Doug Aldrich played with Whitesnake, fucking everybody. Lion. What's that?
House of Lords.
House of Lords. He's
Yeah.
shit. I was just looking at his Wikipedia. There's a gazillion bands.
Yeah.
Who's he in right now with John Corabi?
Oh yeah.
Dead Daisies.
Yeah.
Dead
He
Daisies.
was Dio and Moon Rising and all kinds of good shit.
Yes. So Tony Cavazzo plays on bass. He's Carlos Cavazzo's brother. Jay Shellen on drums, has played a ton of bands. So I think I got into this over the last couple of years because of X. And follow me at Hair Metal Guru, and but Brian, Metal Mike, all these guys that talk about this shit all the time, and people are always sharing my album of the day or whatever. So, I'll be like, shit. There's Hurricane, Slave to the Thrill, which has a really cool cover. It's got this chick laying on this. Anyway.
So you've seen the unedited cover?
Oh, yeah.
Because the edited one is pretty boring.
Yeah. Well, I've studied the unedited version frequently, if you know what I'm saying. So, but I don't know why I didn't get into, and I think part of it was I felt like the vocals were so clean. So when this first came out, I was starting to get in 90 and 91, starting to get into the heavier shit, the sleazier shit, This is more clean, straight ahead rock. But I was missing out because in the last couple of years, people talking about it, I started listening to it, started really getting into it. Check out Rain of Love, Next to You, Young Man, Smells Like a Child are all great rock songs. And everybody knows I love pussy ballads. And Don't Wanna Dream is one of the greatest ballads of the genre. It's got this kick-ass in the chorus. It has like this nursery rhyme feel to it. It's so utterly catchy, you won't be able to stop listening to it. So it's not like a big, heavy sleaze rock record, but it's just good, solid, straight ahead rock with awesome vocals. And I can't believe I missed out on it for this long.
Dude, I've been obsessed with this album. I bought it. I remember exactly when I bought it and where I bought it. And I bought it in when I was 19 years old in the year 2000. And I have been cranking it ever since. I'm obsessed with this album. And actually, I don't really love the first two. I like the first one, Take What You Want, a lot more than I like Over the Edge. And I love I'm On to You, and I love like Give Me an Inch, but they're just odd, you know. And I think we've talked about it before. They're just a little bit odd. But
Yeah.
this is like the truest hard rock album. And I feel like with Aldrich in there, they kind of lost all the going in different directions and kind of the funny, odd stuff they had on the first two. And this one's just pure hard rock. And there's
Yeah.
so many killers on this one, dude.
Yep.
Rain of Love and Next to You. Fuck, that song's so good.
And most and you mentioned it, if you don't know Hurricane, most people do know the song I'm On to You. It was a fairly medium-sized hit that most people who follow hair metal know. But outside of that, the band didn't get a bunch of attention.
No.
So, unfortunately, so that's why we're pumping them on this channel. So, fix my mistake. Go out and listen to Hurricane, Slave to the Thrill. And with
Absolutely.
that, we're on to your number 4. What do you got?
A band called Giant,
Oh.
and this is Giant 3. And in researching for this epic show, I was so pleasantly surprised in my error in assuming that this was a never released third, what would be a third early 90s album, but
Yep.
it wasn't. It was actually new, recorded in the early 2000s, awesome and true to form shit from Giant. And I was like, dude, what rippers these guys are, because it is so on par with the first two albums. And anyway, Spotify had it, and I never clicked on it because I thought because of the year it just turned me off. I was like, this is gonna suck. 2000s Giant, whatever.
Yep.
And I clicked on it, and I was like, wait a minute. This must be like demo shit they had sitting there from 92, because this is too good. Check out You Will Be Mine and Over You, and you'll be like, okay, they're back. They never changed. This is great. And so I preached the first two Giants, and I almost preached this thing as much.
So I haven't listened to that. I love the first Giant album. I think it's called Last of the Runaways.
Yeah.
I'll See You in My Dreams, Innocent Days. Shit, that thing is so phenomenal. Very poppy. Unfortunately, at a time where things were getting harder and sleazier, I wish that thing had come out a couple years earlier. And I do have the second album. I think it's called Time to Burn.
Yep.
Or A Time to Burn. And I
Right.
don't know that one as well, but this one that you're talking about, have not listened to it.
Don't ignore it.
So now I know I need to, because I love that first thing. Shit. So, okay, good call. Good call. And that's the service that we provide here.
That's right.
This knowledge of shit. We're doing all the research so you don't have to. Okay. My number 4 is, it's an Australian hard rock band. So, when I first hear that, your mind goes to AC/DC. And the band is called Kings of the Sun. And the album is 1990's Full Frontal Attack. And this was a YouTube discovery. So, like I said, I was listening to shit on YouTube, and I'll be listening to albums, and I'm always like, you look at the recommendations, and it'll be like, there'll be shit to the side. You're like, oh, hey, click on this. Maybe it's something related to what you're listening to. So, for some reason or another, I start listening to this band, Kings of the Sun, a couple years ago. And I went down a huge Kings of the Sun rabbit hole for a long time because they put out 3 albums and they're all really good. But the 1990 Full Frontal Attack is probably my favorite. So they're from Australia. They're led by 2 brothers. Jeff Hode is on vocals and guitar. And besides being a kick-ass band and kick-ass singer, this dude is like a model. I mean, he's like the second coming of Sebastian Bach. So, I'm like shocked that they didn't find a way to get this guy like in front of the cameras and that they didn't make it big somehow. But anyway, his brother Cliff Hode is on drums. And they do some of the AC/DC-ish stuff. There is some of the 3-chord simple rock stuff. But I just look at them not as the AC/DC clones at all, but just a good straight ahead rock band. They're not out there trying to save the world, but it's shit you're going to tap your foot to. It's shit you're going to raise your fist to. And it's just awesome. So they put out 3 albums. They're the first. Now, I think the first one is self-titled. It came out in 1988. They got to tour in Australia with Kiss for a while. They also apparently did a run of shows with Guns N' Roses, but apparently got kicked off that tour because I think the drummer kind of ragged on GNR, said, that, they were really similar to another band, and GNR's management kind of got pissed, so they got kicked off this tour. Anyway, in 1990, they put out Full Frontal Attack, and man, this thing just rocks. So I'm going to check out Crazy, Lock Me Up, Drop the Gun, Vampire, and the title track, Full Frontal Attack. It's just 4 to the floor, good fucking rock. And I'm just shocked, like I said, with their sound and with the look of their singer. They should have been massive, but most people haven't heard of them.
Remind me of what one of the album covers looks like, because I know I can almost picture it, and I've always ignored it. So I don't know anything by these guys.
One of them, it's like the 4 guys are like, it looks like they're in a cave and they're looking up because Kings of the Sun, and you see the light coming in. Full Frontal Attack just has like a picture of the 2 brothers on the front, and then the third one I can't remember. But damn, I kid you not, they fit right in with fucking the great rock albums that were coming out in 89, 90, and I'm just, and they were from Australia. I think they toured once in America, opening, if the almighty Wikipedia is correct, opening for Lita Ford.
Oh wow.
Which, I guess I can see that, but yeah, they should have been big. Fucking great stuff.
I'd like to check them out. Cool.
There you go, Kings of the Sun, Full Frontal Attack. And we are on to your number 3.
All right, well, here's the self-titled masterpiece from 1989, number 3 on our 89 top 10, the Mats Levin-fronted epic Swedish erotica.
Ooh, geez. Somebody on X just was talking to me about hair metal, and they said, well, you probably don't have anything from my favorite band. I'm like, who's your favorite band? Swedish erotica. I'm like, no shit. So sorry to interrupt, but I started I'm like, fuck. So anyway, I listened to one album and it was kick ass. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I was guilty of ignoring these guys because of the band name. And between this and my number 1 on this list, the boy was my band name discrimination a mistake, but also kind of a pleasant surprise, because when I got into this a couple years back, I have this new gem from 1989, and it's new to me, 23 or 33 years later. So I can't say enough about this album. Check out the song Love on the Line, and you'll be hooked. It'll be over for you. You'll become obsessed with all things Mats Levin, such as I.
So they have a couple albums out, if I understand right, and I
Yeah,
think you're probably talking about that would be their debut album.
that's the debut, and
Okay.
then they have like a mid '90s, which I don't know very well,
Yeah.
and then they have a one that was like a what would have been a follow up to the '89 record. Um, and honestly, it's as good as the '89 record, and I'm not kidding. Like the production is perfect, and the songs are like maybe even a little more catchy because there's more
Really?
consistency. But I wouldn't ignore that demo version. I can't remember what it's called, but it's been released in the 2000s, but it has like an '80s picture on it. And if you've ignored that, you shouldn't do that either.
And you're right about what did you call it? Bad name bias or
Oh,
name bias?
the name discrimination.
Name discrimination. Because another 1989 album, Kicked and Clawed by Cats in Boots.
Oh yeah, good
I love
call.
that album, but I remember seeing that and going, Cats in Boots? That's the
Yeah.
dumbest fucking band name ever. And passing it, so that's probably one that I probably didn't get into until the last whatever years because a buddy of mine was like, dude, you should check this out. And I'm like, fucking Cats in Boots. I remember hearing it and it fucking is great. But yeah, um, Swedish erotica. I mean,
Yeah.
it screams like, okay, our band probably sucks, so we came up with this goofy name to hopefully draw some attention. But
Right.
yes, I listened to that 1989 album and I was like, son of a bitch. That
I
would be
know.
one that yeah, passed me by back in the day.
Yeah.
So, all right, good fucking call. All right, my number three, and we did not share lists, so I have no clue what he's going to be talking about. But there was an album, and there's not, I don't think, a ton of information about this band, but the band is Juliet,
Oh yeah.
and it's the self-titled album from 1990. It came out on Enigma Records. Now, here's what I got from it, and again, this has been in the last couple of years, and I think a friend of mine that is around Fargo, and we're just kind of like Facebook friends, but no loves hair metal. And I think they were like, dude, you got to check out this Juliet. And I was like, all right. And I love getting recommendations. So please throw them in the comments while we're at it. The bands that you've discovered recently. But this album came out in 1990 and it's got Kenny McGee on vocals, great singer. The band actually, one thing that kind of, I don't know if this hurt him or helped him, but Kevin Dubrow kind of heard about them and took an interest and helped them, I think, record some demos that helped them get signed to Enigma. I don't remember seeing shit about this band or this album in like the Metal Edge, Hit Parader, Circus. None of that, which is bullshit because this thing is now here's where it's a pop rock masterpiece, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna throw the emphasis on poppy. It's very poppy. And in 1990, we were starting to move away from that. I mean, it's even poppy compared to like your Firehouse and your Slaughter, which I think are kind of more of the pop side of hair metal. But check out Eight Lives Gone. Jeez, that actually has one of the heavier guitar riffs, and that chorus is catchier than crabs. No More Tears is a great pop rock song. Something You Should Know is very pop rock. Stay the Night is a mid-tempo pop masterpiece. So there is some filler on it, and I'm gonna have another album that's kind of like this. They're not out to change the world. You're not getting anything, but they just do what they do very well. And I'm disappointed. Now, I'm disappointed that the thing didn't do anything. It got no promotion. I know that they did put out an album again later on. I think it was called Passion. I think it may have been like demos, maybe either for their second album, which never got released. I know Kenny McGee, the singer, has put out some solo albums, but this thing, Juliet, is phenomenal. And if you like your hair metal, your hard rock on the lighter side, go check out their 1990 self-titled debut.
Great call. And I think I got the CD around the same time I got Hurricane.
Sure.
So I was fortunate enough to find that original, because I know there's like a lot of reprints, or the like the one you mentioned that has, I can't remember if it has some of the same songs or whatnot.
Yep.
But my interpretation of it was actually like, oh shit, what am I about to listen to? Because on the cover, it's very light. Like the guys are, dolled up, and
Yep.
there's a flower or something like that. And it's
Yep.
like the name.
I'll put the cover in the video, but yep.
Yeah, it just screams like light. But then my interpretation was like almost like a Cinderella Night Song experience when you see the album cover and you're like, oh shit, this is going to be glam hell,
Sure.
which we love. But then you get it and you're like, whoa, this is harder than I thought.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that was my interpretation of that album, because some of those riffs you're talking about, I was pretty surprised, and I love this shit. That's a great choice by you.
Yes. 8 Lives Gone is not, that is a heavy, heavy riff. But some of the other ones that I talked about, Something You Should Know, Stay the Night, those two, very mid-tempo, very poppy. So I shouldn't say there is some heavier edge stuff on the album. But I gravitated towards the poppy shit because it's so well done.
Totally good.
Man. All right.
Nice.
Okay. That's my number 3. We're on to your number 2. What do you got?
All right, here's what I got. Yngwie Malmsteen's Eclipse from 1990. And I got to credit Metal Mike, because years ago he did an Yngwie episode with a buddy of his, and they ranked all the Yngwie catalog. And he's a big fan, Metal Mike. He loves him. But I was always like a Jeff Scott Soto, like his first 2 albums. And then obviously like the big late 80s Odyssey and Trilogy. But this, however, it kind of abandoned all the neoclassical speed shit that we talk about that he does a little, not as much of this and more chords. It abandoned that on this album, and it's full hair metal, and it's great. So it's got Gore and Edmund on vocals. Play the first 2 songs, Making Love and Bedroom Eyes, and you'll get what I'm talking about. As a little bonus side note, don't ignore any of his 90s shit either. Try cranking Facing the Animal, which features the Swedish erotica singer Mats Levin, and it's from 90, it's from 97. So like after I listened to Metal Mike's Yngwie ranking, I was like, okay, I'll give this shit another shot. And I was like blown away, because I owned all his stuff. I owned Fire and Ice, Eclipse, I even owned like Facing the Animal. And I just was like, I gotta have him. Like he's part of history. I gotta have him. And I found him used and whatnot. And I went back and I was like, fuck, dude, I can't believe I skipped this just because I was kind of like so into the first 2 and I really liked Odyssey and whatever. But Eclipse is probably my favorite Yngwie album.
Razor Fist, I still need to edit this I did a video with Razor Fist a week ago, and I'm hoping to put it out this weekend. So by the time this video comes out, I should have a video with Razor Fist. But Razor Fist has talked about that Eclipse album, and he does those Metal Mythos videos where he just breaks down every album in an artist's catalog. He's done them on Dokken, Sabbath, Alice Cooper, but he did one on Yngwie. And I'm one of those guys who's like, fuck, I'm not listening to Yngwie because I'm not, all that shit just turns me off. But I've heard now you and Metal Mike talk about this Eclipse album, so now I'm intrigued, because people are saying that's that he's not doing all that shit. It's more song oriented and not doodling oriented.
Right. I mean, on that episode with Metal Mike and his buddy, this album was way low, and they both were like, nah. But he and I talk all the time still, and he's like, dude, I'm really into Eclipse now. Like, I don't know what changed, but I'm super into it. And then Yngwie got Mike Viscera, who is awesome. He's like one of the best vocalists out there, for the next couple albums, and they're also fantastic. So, dude, you could choose like, I could literally say like this whole episode could be his shit that I ignored for
Right.
so many years. I was like,
Right.
oh, in the 90s, that's going to be killer, not. And I was like, fuck, it is killer. But especially this one.
Sure. Okay. All right. You convinced me to give it a shot.
God,
All right.
first two. Listen to the first two songs. You don't need to go beyond that for now.
Okay. Okay. All right. My number two, again from 1990, and again, super poppy. And I'm sure you're going to know. I bet you probably have a lot of the same because I can see you loving this. It's a self-titled album from a band called Blue Tears.
Oh,
Okay. That's what I figured you'd
I
say.
just got a Blue Tears boner.
Oh, geez, me too. And hold on. Geez, oh, my start. Oh, shit. Hold on. Okay. But the first thing I'll say is signed to MCA. So you obviously know why fucking people don't know about it. MCA, who fucked up Lillian Axe and all these other bands anyway.
Yeah.
Led by a guy named Greg Fulkerson. The band formed in 82, got signed to MCA. The album comes out in 90. This thing is again a pop rock masterpiece. And again, emphasis on the pop. So check out some of these song titles. The first single is a song called Rockin' with the Radio. And I love it. It wouldn't have been out of place on Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet, I think. But that title in 1990. Here's a couple other songs that I love. Crush, Innocent Kiss. I mean, it's so poppy, so undeniably catchy. But in 1990, people were moving toward in a different direction, which is so unfortunate because these choruses in these songs just grab you by the heart and won't let go. So those songs are amazing. There is a phenomenal ballad called Halfway to Heaven. Holy shit. And this band does ballads very well. So with it bombs. I don't remember seeing anything about these guys in magazines, but you didn't see anything about Lillian Axe either. So they didn't get to put out their second album. The label's like, fuck, here comes grunge, we'll see you later, we're moving on. But Greg Fulkerson gets the band. I don't know if maybe these songs were recorded right after the self-titled debut, but they put out a couple of other albums in like the early 2000s, I think. And they're great. They're on YouTube. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Like at how good these things are. And now I can't remember I think one's called like something bad, dangerous, and there's another one. Yeah. Anyway, Blue Tears, they put out these other albums. Then he started another project called Attraction 65, excuse me. They put out an album, I think in the early 2000s, and you hear the modernness in it, but again, it's fucking pop rock done unbelievably well. I love that Attraction 65 album. So from everything I know, it's this Greg Fulkerson was the songwriter, the creative force, did everything. Now, I also know that he died in 2009. I wonder what happened. But this guy put out 3 Blue Tears albums, an Attraction 65 album that were just, the guy did pop rock unbelievably catchy, and I wish more people knew his name. And I just like, I'm intrigued as to what happened. Was it health problems? But man, what a great songwriter. So this Blue Tears 1990 album is where it started. And I, from what there's a ton of people online that talk about this thing in glowing terms. So it's like it's gained this big following since then, but it should have done something in 1990 because it's great.
Yeah, I would say that the discrimination factor on this one would have been the worst fucking album cover I've ever seen.
That album cover is shit.
It's worse than Bo Nasty. It's like, what were they thinking? There's like a little tiny illustrated picture of Elvis, I think, like if you look closely, and the rest of it, I have no fucking clue what it is. It's like a third grader drew a picture and they slapped it on the cover.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. But dude, I'm obsessed with this album.
Yes.
I said I was obsessed with Slave to Thrill. This one too. I don't know which I would take more, but this one is like. So when we talked about the band Jaded Heart one time,
Yep.
and if you listen to the first song of Jaded Heart, you'll be like, "Is that John Bon Jovi?" Same
Right.
shit here. You listen to the
Yes.
first lick, first verse of in this one in Rockin' to the Radio, and you're
Yep.
like, fuck, this is Bon Jovi's long lost brother, and that ballad, Halfway to Heaven. Yeah, that's the song. That's the
Yep.
title.
Halfway to-
That made my ballad list when we did the
Hmm.
60 ballads, and I
Yes.
fucking love this album. That the chorus of Crush, and then it started with a kiss, an innocent
Yes.
kiss. Like,
Yes.
dude, in 90, like it kind of went well still,
Yep.
but it's so fucking huge. Like wherever they recorded this
Yes.
shit, they did a great job recording it because
Yes.
it's massive. I preach this album so hard.
So I have their Wikipedia pulled up. So it says, okay, there's Blue Tears 1990. Then in 2006, The Innocent Ones. And then it says 2 compilation albums. And I know I've listened to all this shit on YouTube. And there are songs on these other albums that I think are as good and better than what were on the 19. There and some ballads, and now I can't think of the names, but
Right.
so in 2005, there's a Mad, Bad, and Dangerous compilation. And also in 2005, a Dancing on the Back Streets compilation. I don't know. All this shit's on YouTube, and I just went down a big rabbit hole, Blue Tears for a while, and like I said, shocked at how good some of the stuff was, and that Attraction 65 album. So I feel like they could almost have their own damn video with all the great songs that people have never heard of from this band.
Yeah, I've never heard of that Attraction 65, so I'm looking forward to that because
Yes.
great voice.
Yes. And now I can't remember the name. Somebody was like shared this song with me. Now I can't remember what it's called. And they're like, dude, you should listen to the song from Attraction 65. I was like, holy fuck. How did that not blow up on radio in 2002?
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear the Stained Creed influence, but you can also just hear the pop rock ballad in it. Shit, now I want to think of it's like in Another Life. Holy fuck. Attraction 65 in Another Life. Jeez,
Okay.
just thinking about it, I just got goosebumps. It's so good.
Nice. See,
Okay.
the beauty of this genre, dude, like just never ending. I don't know where these fucking bands hid, where they hibernated, but it is never ending. This is great.
And I've said this before. One of my favorite things about doing this channel is I always thought, yeah, there's not much hair metal that I haven't discovered. Since I've started doing this channel, there's been so many bands that I never knew about that people have brought to my attention, that you've brought to my attention. So I'm like, fuck, it's just, yeah, like you said, it's never ending. All the great shit that we just never discovered because, shit, when it was blowing up, record labels were signing people left and right. And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear it back then, but because of people like me and you on this channel, we get to hear about it now. So
yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
You're welcome out there now.
That's right. That's right. Okay, we are on to your number ones. What is your number one?
Okay. This is Sick Vicky doing Kiss Me in French from 1993. And how on earth could a band and an album from 1993 sound so 1989 huge? And I've owned this album for years and ignored it due to the odd band name again. More discrimination by me. And I just became obsessed with this album in the last couple of years, and I couldn't believe that I committed the crime of ignoring this. The song Tough Enough is the second song on the album, and it quickly became one of my most played songs on the Spotify end of the year ranking. I think it was 2023.
Yep.
And it was like an obscene amount of times. It was like AC/DC, Def Leppard, my wife's like pop shit. and sandwiched in between there was Sick Vicky. And it's like, I bet you I was probably the only guy besides the band members, maybe, that have the same Spotify end of the year rewind. But anyway, if people are as lame as I am and ignored it, or if you don't know it, stop right now and play it. Okay, the first two songs again will hook you, and the rest is just like melodic rock greatness. It's as 89 as it gets in 93.
Trevor from the Crash Course Metal Show pumps that album constantly.
Nice.
And he did like sometimes he'll do these Friday night yeah, it's YouTube live. Excuse me, I just burped. It's YouTube live. And so one day he has I can't remember, but a guy from Sick Vicky, I can't remember if it's a guitar player, a bass player, whoever.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna fucking sneeze. Do I need to edit all this shit out? Fuck. Anyway, I gotta quit doing cocaine.
Yeah, no, good.
Yeah, but hey, I don't like cocaine. I just like the way it smells.
Of course.
Anyway, so anyway, yeah, so he had this guy on from Sick Vicky, but yeah, he's been pumping, and I know I've listened. What's it, Kiss Me in French or something like that? It's called.
That's right.
And I know I've dabbled in it, but I haven't given it the full on honest, hey, I'm gonna sit and listen to this album. But
Yeah.
I think Brian from the Hairband Basement has gotten into that, Trevor, and now you. So okay, I need to, yeah, 1993, but it was very poppy, wasn't it? Kind
Oh,
of
very,
very
yeah, very. It's not like workout music, you know,
right.
because even when I was super into it, I would crank it while I was working out, and I'm like, it's more like party music.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the song Tough Enough
Yeah.
has like the really big, smooth chorus, and then like the really high, like Juan Crocier backing vocal
Yeah.
on it as well. They kind of repeat the title. Check that song out. You won't be disappointed.
Speaking of working out, do you even work out? What's up?
No,
No.
bro, you work out,
Bro,
bro.
when I coach little kids, they're always like, bro. I'm like, that's cap, whatever the fuck that means. Cap, that apparently that means lying. Like, that's cap, bro. Whatever.
Heard.
I'm like, shut the fuck up and keep dribbling your basketball. Don't say that. All right. My number one is, and this is, I think would be, well, maybe not. You had Ingve, but this is probably the biggest album on my list. This album actually made it to number 160 on the Billboard charts. It actually had a minor hit, and the band is Baton Rouge, and the album is Shake Your Soul. And I remember I got this back in the day because I heard the song Walks Like a Woman got some radio play, and it's a really good fucking song.
Yeah.
So I bought it, but I listened to it and I put it away because number one, it seemed a little bit more poppy than the direction I was going in at that time. The vocalist, who's a guy named, I think it's Kelly Keeling. I think he actually sings with a Trans-Siberian Orchestra right now. And if you're asking me if the entire orchestra is trans, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a couple of them. But anyways, so I think I remember listening to it and going, this is, the singer's got this really clean, nice voice, and I was into the gritty shit. The music was good, but it was a little more poppy, so I put it away. Anyway, over the last couple of years, and again, this is where X and guys like Brian and other guys on X have been touting this album. They're like, oh, it's so fucking good. So I bring it out again, and this is only over the last probably 4 or 5 months. Holy shit. Shake Your Soul is phenomenal. There are so many songs on this thing that could have been hits. So I'll give you Doctor. Walks Like a Woman was a minor hit. Baby's So Cool. Try to get that fucking chorus out of your head. Baby's so cool. Baby's, oh shit. Big Trouble. Bad Time Coming Down. And then It's About Time was a really solid ballad. So it goes to number 160. Apparently well enough that they did get to do a follow-up. Lights Out in the Playground, Lights Out on the Playground came out in 1991, did not chart, did not do anything. And I don't know that album that well. I do know there's a cover, or Babylon AD had a song called Desperate, a great fucking ballad. And I know Lights Out in the Playground had a cover of that. There was another song that I think got some very minor radio play. Maybe you even know what it is. The band breaks up. Now, another album came out in 1997, and I think Kelly Keeling is on vocals. I don't know if it's the rest of the band. I know Jack's squad about that 1997 album. I listened to a couple songs of it on YouTube just to get it sounded fine, but I don't know it well enough to have an opinion about it. But that fucking Shake Your Soul from 1990 is amazing. I'm so pissed that I didn't get into this back in the day because I should have been pimping this album for years. But the way it is now, go check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I got the tape years and years ago, and I got really into that first one, and I like it a lot. I really like the song "The Price of Love" off their second album.
That's the song, "The Price of Love," that was a single, I think.
That chorus is insanely catchy. And I think, and I could totally be lying, I think the singer went on to sing on the second Blue Murder record. But
yes.
That's a good record.
I didn't know if he sang on the record, but I know he toured with Blue Murder, but what, didn't John fucking Sykes sing on it?
Maybe I am making it up and he didn't sing on it, but I knew he had some affiliation with
he had some affiliate. You're right. You're exactly right. So I don't, maybe John sang on part of it. I don't know, but I know he has some affiliate. So sorry to interrupt, but yes, he did have some affiliation with Blue Murder.
Yeah, and that album cover of that first album is kind of like it grabs you because it's a kind of a creepy-ish doll. But it's no, that's a great album, dude. Great pick, and I'm glad you got into it.
Oh shit. Oh, it's so good. I mean, some of those songs are so insanely catchy.
What's the one you mentioned? I'm looking at the title now. The titles, it was
Baby So
Baby
Cool?
So Cool. Yeah.
Baby So Cool.
Yeah.
It's so catchy.
When you said that, I haven't listened to it in years, and I was like, that's right. That is a good one.
But you know, when I say that title, Baby So Cool, I'm like, Baby So Cool, that song's gonna suck. That song title's ass, but that song is fucking great.
Don't discriminate the name, just like
I know. You're right. You're right. So all of my albums were from 1990, and for one reason or another, in general, I think the scene was getting very bloated. You know, in 89 in 88, every fucking record company was signing every fucking, band with long hair, which is good for us. But by 89, 90, when they were putting these albums out, a record label only has so much in their promotion budget. So unfortunately, a lot of these albums didn't get the attention, and, so they didn't get promoted a lot. And for one reason or another, they just passed, even people like us who live for this shit, they passed us by, but we got into them now. So better late than never.
Very good. That's awesome. Yeah.
So with that, there are 10 albums from Ryan and I, albums that came out from back in the day. For one reason or another, we didn't get into until recently. Please go in the comments and tell us what are some albums maybe from back in the day, either that were ignored or that you have gotten into maybe from this channel or just gotten into recently for whatever reason. With that, Ryan, thanks for being on to talk about these albums, brother.
That was a good one. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, go check out Metalcast. Check out the shit he's doing. Thank him for saving California from the fires. Hey, follow me on X at Hair Metal Guru. Check out my Facebook pages, Classic Rock Fargo, Hair Metal Guru. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Whatever you can do to support the channel. I just appreciate you being here. Till the next episode comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care.